point. How do you choose a strategy that is appropriate for you? By doing something, do you see what are your available resources? Right? Who do we have on our team? Who can we compete against or not? What technology can we build? We take 2 to a test. So, okay, we maybe start with architecture and value chain. But actually, architecture suits us better, right? We want to create this ecosystem, we want to create this lock-in, because we already have a certain platform where we bring together merchants, people that buy it, then we see how we can milk that. So we go with that. So, what is entrepreneurial strategy about? It links the choices of customer, identity, that it not only creates and captures value, but that's very important, it allows you to build the company that you actually want. Because it helps you make these choices. You can define a company where you actually like it. Recap. Before we start that, any questions?
McDonald's.
McDonald's?
Yes.
Would you see McDonald's still as entrepreneurial?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So from a classic strategy perspective, McDonald's does so-called cost leadership. They try to be the cheapest with their products, with the most available. So from that point of view, now you know how McDonald's operates, right? With franchises. It's franchises, exactly. So they create the architecture. You have to create a certain ecosystem that you then have to adhere to, right? They build the technology for you, the branding, the promotions, and then guide you through that as a merchant, as a franchise owner, but also as a person who wants to go to the work. Other questions? Good, I like that. Cool, okay. Paradox. The learn and experiment. You want to go forward, you have certain choices to make, you don't know which ones. In order to define a meaningful value proposition, but also choosing the focus and making the commitments that are necessary for competitive advantage. So you want to find the right thing to do in order to stay competitive and actually have an advantage over your competition. That's what she helps you with. It's not simply a matter of choosing which environment you are in. The choice of entrepreneurial strategy reflects these 4 main trajectories that you want to make your choices in. And constantly, it's only 4, right? You can relatively easily say this customer, this industry, not this industry, and that's the technology you want to build. You already have a certain set of choices that you made, which help you to create your value creation hypotheses. And that's what it boils down to. By the process of choosing will help you to come to terms with your value creation, value capture, and aligns the company you want to build with your underlying passion to start this whole thing. Good.
Can I ask, it's very curious that you don't have a, you're not mentioning problem solving at any point. It's almost like you're sort of creating, like you create pieces of art because I want to work in this industry and with this technology. But really, almost all, as far as my experience serves me, most entrepreneurial ideas come from saying, there's a problem here, I need to fix the problem.
Yes, that is very good. But problem solving is operational. Right? Problem solving is very much the how. This
and
is,
the why.
Well, to a certain point. Yeah. This is one level above, right? So you have a problem, and you can approach it from so many different angles. Right? Again, the painkiller, you can create a herbal remedy, or you can create something based on a molecule. These are choices
once
you make.
You've got this problem, then how do you approach it? Or also, if you've got 3 that you could choose from, how do they stack up for these these factors.
Yeah, it really helps you to define the surroundings of your problem or what you want to do. But by doing that, you might find out that your problem, your original solution to the problem might not be valuable or the right one for this problem because you see, shit, actually someone else is doing it. But if I did, suddenly you become that guy over there, right? So that's what these things help you with. That's why I felt like we should talk. More questions, because we're basically at the end of the presentation. So now, question time, please.
What's are there kind of typical issues? There are kind of typical problems for being in a certain project you might expect.
What do you mean by that?
So say you're in architecture, say like there's an issue like getting you need a certain volume of users before it becomes possible with any value.
Okay.
It's kind of
see. Okay, that's again mostly operational, right? Yeah. Because PlayStation, no, sorry, Xbox in the beginning almost had no users. The first 6 years, Xbox was massively in the red, but it was a strategy Microsoft had from the beginning to create this ecosystem around games. Now it's, I think, 45% or even 45% market share, which is very, very sizable. Now with the integration into Windows, it will increase again. So yes, it might be a problem that you don't have enough users, but for them it was a strategy, and they had the means to do it, right? They had the resources. Now for you, that might not be the right thing in these terms, right? If you see, hey, for the next 5-6 years, we're not going to be making money. For you, then Microsoft didn't care. They just, okay, so we have Office on the other side that makes billions a year in the plus. Just balance it out, right? Thus, this enables them to go with that strategy. Right? And that's what I mean before. You have to make these choices based on your cost-benefit analysis. But coming back to your question, I think typical problems are execution, per se. And for me, what I see mostly, it has to do with the blue blocks, right? With these things here, with identity. So why do most startups fail? Disputes among co-founders, not aligned in targets, not finding the right customers because they don't find the right thing and they didn't make the right choices. But very often it's internally why startups fail. Because one of the co-founders felt like, hey, after 2 years I want to go work in the forest and be completely remote. I never told his co-founder. You know? So it's often about the execution level of the strategy where it fails. This just gives you a framework of how you can maneuver yourself. This is how you have to do it, right? It's not the problem solving. It's maybe approach a problem.
How important is it to make the choice? Like, because when you are a startup, you junior road ahead, you like getting a lot of opportunities, like you partner with this, but then face a strategy, but you then get next week you get another partner or another country. Like for us, we have like 5 countries we can go to, but we picked the UK because we want to go to this market. But how important is it to be really like structured on that? Because suddenly new things pops up, and which is really exciting, but you don't have the time or keep.
Yeah, you already say it, right? It depends on your resources to one point, also to who you want to partner with, right? Now, let's say an oil company that, let's not name them, but they had a huge problem in the Gulf of Mexico, wants to partner with you, right? And you are an environmental organization. Does that work for you? Right? Just because they offer you a few million, should you partner with them or not? But that's a choice you make. Now you can spin it and say, yes, absolutely we want, because we feel we are the right partner to them to bring them forward into a greener future. Or you say, you know what, actually the partners we already have, that will jeopardize them and it will not be true to our mission. Work with people who have this kind of mindset. That's a choice you have to make. And then the question of how long you should stick with it, that depends, right? as we just heard from Netflix, they did not stay infinitely in the disruption. At one point, they become the green line, and other people are coming in. Maybe not sure if that's happening for Netflix, but right now, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you need to adopt to at a certain point. Again, make a cost-benefit analysis. 2 years down the road, you might have a team of 15 people. Your resources, your technologies, etc., are vastly different than they are now. Thus, your cost-benefit analysis will look different. Thus, allowing you to make different choices.
And it's actually a very interesting point. There was this entrepreneur who was building his camera to see like nature at night, basically. So he built this camera that you can put on on a tree, and you could see, nature around, all animals and stuff like that, for kids to actually study it and just see them. And this camera is really cool camera, and it could be used for so many things. And during the conference, lots of people were asking him about, oh, but you could use it for like hunting, and you could use it for like this use and this use, and you can actually make so much more money and expand and stuff. And he was like, no, that's not what we want to do. That's not our mission. Our mission is about helping kids to know more about like nature. And if we go into these things, we're going to lose ourselves and lose why we build that for, and essentially just lose the whole company. And so at some point, it's just about what is your mission, and is it aligned with your mission and what you want to do with it. Even though you can make much more money, or you can expand more like quickly into another field.
You cannot like always kind of trick yourself into believing that's part of way, like choosing that direction is like, yeah, it's something in the vision that down the road. So it's like it's hard to make it.
Yeah, it is difficult.
And I feel as an entrepreneur, you have to be opportunistic to a certain point, right? I think there's a bit more wiggle room, but at a certain point, you need to make a decision. That's what we said in the beginning, right? When you made a certain decision, certain paths are closed. As this guy, right? Now his paths into going for wildlife cameras in a professional way, they're closed. Now he stays in kids' education, which is also cool. More questions, please. Good. Okay. Okay. Maybe can you recap a little bit? What did you learn today, or how do you feel this applies to your startups? Yeah, please.
I think the archaic corporate principles of defining competition underpins two principles. One is you compete by either offering a very unique product, so that's differentiation strategy, and B is you compete by offering a very low cost product, and that's low-cost strategy like Walmart. But what I'm getting from this session is that there's actually another way of, or another version of playing around in the market that allows you not only to compete, but at the same time to collaborate, or to even supply a specific segment within the space that is untapped, and you create your own market segment. So I think it's helpful to actually have a different perspective from an entrepreneurial context, rather than wired up to the corporate principle, because it doesn't really apply at all. Yeah, so that's kind of my overall reflection.
How do you see it applied for your business?
Well, obviously, it has to be a conscious decision that I can't just make in the next, having seen your presentation for 1 hour and then be able to make my decision now. I think it's going to be a function of cost-benefit analysis, as you rightfully said. Which resources does the company have, and where can we actually leverage those resources to maximize the benefit using those 4 strategies in the department. So that would be the kind of activity that I have to do: map resources, and then see which one fits well. Yeah.
That's good. How about you? What did you take away from this?
I like the kind of how the structure of how you combine the different theories into one, and seeing it from another perspective. I've been going to some classes, and then you talk about supporter, and that's like the way to go. But maybe that's like kind of complicated. But it's more into how this today can actually work and get competitive advantage. But I think for us, especially the thing that you cost benefit analysis, or like to actually make the choice, that's what we've been struggling with, like probably each day, that we discuss it, that we don't actually make the choice because we're afraid of actually losing this opportunity and losing the money or not going into the country. So it's a really tricky thing.
It's very tricky.
I think it's really these sort of strategies are really good as concepts to have, because very easily you do strategy kind of where you fit in the market, what you do all these sort of tactical things, but actually to have to think actually, well, this is where I fit, this is what I'm actually trying to do, this is what I'm trying to achieve. Actually quite nice to have these concepts to actually want to really fit more into these places, but you can actually see what activities you should be doing and actually how you should be working in that space.
So it gives you a set of options.
Yeah, good. So you might not maybe just to go normal different ways of strategy, just going out there and being the market is a much better way of doing it, understanding which activities.
Cool.
It really helped me to. It's really helpful, kind of helping me to find my identity. You know,
Good.
my product identity, and kind of seeing that it can sit in one area and then actually end up long term for mission. You know, for a mission, just end up somewhere else. Yeah, that's really useful.
And I think that's something very important you mentioned. And strategies are not static, right? It's something that evolves over time. But I think it's very good not to start thinking at where you want to be in 10 years. Where are you now? And how can you leverage it right now to take the next step? Then you can make an analysis. It doesn't mean you shouldn't have a vision of 10 years, right? But vision is something different.
Yeah. And is there I don't know if it's right or wrong question, but is it possible to combine this? Just like I see it from at least from my company.
Yeah.
We have like a combination of one way the architecture, because we want to open the students, and partners that want to attract students want to be on the platform. But on the other side, we have like the value chain strategy, where we'll actually provide stores and integrate the ecosystem and increase the value after different partners.
Yeah.
So it's like, is there a way to actually combine these two?
I think very much so, especially these two, right? They have both very strong collaborative aspects, if you think about it. And yes, there are ways to combine it. But doing IP and disruption at the same time, really difficult. Because then you're really at a different side of the equation, and that means it will be very difficult for you to manage the resources necessary to do that. But I feel value chain and architecture, they always have aspects of each other anyway. Because just because they're these 4 quadrants, right? You can be over here, you can also be a bit more there, right? It's I wouldn't say super fluid, but it's also not very strict. And I mean, starting like that is definitely interesting, right? So you can start as a value chain partner, and then you own more and more and more and more of the value chain, so you define your own value chain, then you go into full architecture. Why not? Yes.
Yeah, the thing that I got most was just the experimentation being a kind of founding culture that you should try and strive for. Because I think, firstly, I think it's probably more in keeping with the entrepreneur's own personality anyway. So it keeps you sane to kind of be doing new things because that's what you like. But also, if you whatever you've managed to do to stay alive last year will slowly be eaten away as the rest of the world encroaches on you, unless you do you're venturing into other areas and working out if you can carve out new spaces. So that sounds like a very healthy, and I've seen that echoed in things that I've done in the past, where if you haven't done that long enough, then you get your fingers burnt, and if you get
into the end of the life cycle. Right?
Yeah, and also just discovering, because sometimes you have a flop with something, but actually with a few of those, then a good idea comes out, and you wouldn't have ever gotten there if you didn't experiment.
Yeah.
So in a kind of when you're right in the moment, you think, oh, I've just fucked up. But really, if you're not testing things out, you're never going to make anything new or serve any new clients or make make any new product. So that's the big thing.
That's good. Cool. Anything else from your side?
One clarification, in
Yes, please.
this value creation hypothesis, is this tantamount to value proposition?
It comes to a certain part area. Value creation hypothesis really should be a hypothesis, right? It's based on your choices, then you kind of define, okay, this is how we think today. We are going to create value. But then it comes down to experimentation again. You might find, actually, no. Then you create a new hypothesis, right? So, yes, for a certain time, it will be probably your value proposition, but this will evolve as well. So that's why it's a hypothesis.
Just value proposition is just value.
What do you propose
right.
as creating value to your customers?
And the hypothesis is more
Iterative.
thinking
It's
about.
a bit more fluid, yes,
Yeah.
in the sense of like, that's how we think.
Yeah.
And then you start experimenting on it, you start talking to more customers,
Yeah.
they feel like, yeah, it sounds interesting, but if you would do that, I would totally buy it. You feel suddenly, oh shit, actually that might be, right? So your value proposition comes from being you're in best hotel awards, right? Best boutique hotel awards, right? So you feel like, okay, we maybe narrow down even more and go to maximum 15 rooms, something like that. Whereas then you talk to other hotels and be like, yeah, but we have now 15 to 20 rooms. I think we would be a really good fit, and maybe you expand it, right? So there are certain experiment cycles that influence your proposition to the client, and behind it is the hypothesis.
So we do need to free the room right now.
Sounds good for me. Is it clear through?
Thank you very much.
Feel free to